I love that perspective. I don't think a lot of parents do that. Hello, this is the Mortgage MEGaphone podcast, and I am pumped today because I get to have a friend of mine on as one of our earliest guests, and with me today is Kenzi Smerdon. She is a senior loan officer at Embrace Home Loans in Salem, New Hampshire. She is a working mom extraordinaire, President's Club member, Scotsman top producer, all of the things, and we're going to learn how she quote unquote does it all today on the pod. Welcome, Kenzi.
Thank you. Thank you for that intro. That made me sound so great. Thanks.
You are so great. So as I was getting ready to chat with you today, I was thinking about how I wanted to ask you how you got into the business, and I don't know the answer to the question. I was like, no, I actually do want to know how Kenzi got into this business. So Tell us the Kenzi Smerdon origin story here.
Yeah, so I worked in the restaurant industry for years, as so many people in real estate have done. I would say that's 60% of people in real estate are backgrounds where we learn to grind it out. And then once I had my son, I was like, I need some 9 to 5, steady paycheck kind of thing. So I actually started off.
So you chose something that is neither of those things.
I know. So I worked at Bank of America as a assistant branch manager. And that was my first intro into the corporate world. I did that for a little over a year. And then that's where I switched into being a mortgage loan officer. So I started at Bank of America and I was like, okay, I think I kind of like this, but I don't like how it's done here. So once I learned the business, I was like, okay, I think I really love this job. But people who I had worked with that had been in the business forever kept telling me all these stories about relationships and fun networking events that they used to do, and I was like, that sounds so great, and we don't do that here. So that's when, after I did that for a little bit, I took the leap out into a local brokerage that was 15 minutes away from my house, the town over, and that's how I really got into mortgages. So technically I started at Bank of America, but the real business aspect, I started at a brokerage close to home in 2021.
Nice. And did you start well, it's 2021, so the networking and all of that might have been a little bit not so much, but did you start getting into that part of the business that you thought would work better for you?
I did. Yeah. When I was at the bank, it was very much it was the easiest job in the world. Everyone would either walk right in or call you and you could say I'm going to lower your mortgage payment. You can pay off all your debt and you're saving $700 a month. It was so easy, but I did learn how to structure a loan, but I was missing the relationship piece of it. So when I switched out to the brokerage is when I basically started from scratch. I knew how to talk the talk, the lingo, and was there, but I had no existing agent relationships or anything like that. I had to build that from the ground up.
Now, knowing you, that seems like it would have come really naturally, but how did you go about it? Did you have a system, or how did you meet friends?
Yeah, I kind of had to learn my own way of how to do things. I did everything that my quote unquote mentors at the time told me to do. Just cold call everyone, tell them they should work with you, get a meeting, and just run with it. And I did that, and it was great because I think that it got me out of my comfort zone. Which whatever you do, that's good to be uncomfortable and grow through that. But I kind of slowly learned that my niche was in newer people in the business, newer agents that were young moms like me. They were working with maybe a curmudgeon-y older man that they had their babies on their hips and they had to call someone and ask questions, and they were that's not vibing for me. So I very quickly found we all kind of want to work with people who can also be our friends. Like we have to be on the phone with each other all week long. We have to work through some really hard things. So you really do want to work with people that you like and that you can connect with. So instead of really going for, agents who were doing super high volume, that probably had like a bunch of people, a bunch of LOs calling them every single week, I kind of looked for who is in the business that I think that I would like want to be friends with. And that's how I started to market myself to people and meet with people. And it just like organically turned into some really strong relationships and really strong relationships with agents specifically that were early on, like didn't do much business. And we ended up growing together, and they're still great friends and business partners of mine today.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, I've attended events at your branch and in your area and with that your network, and you can tell that you guys have a real relationship. These are your friends, these are your girlfriends that you would hang out, go to play dates with, and like also you're doing business, which I think is awesome because it's everybody's on the same page where you're builders, you're entrepreneurial, you're trying to make money and you're like also having a good time doing it. So I really admire that about you guys. Something that I was curious about, because a lot of people in that situation might end up in more of like a friend zone situation. Like they call it hey girl selling, where you're just like, hey, what's up? But it never moves to the business. Do you do anything specific to take those relationships over to a real business relationship?
Yeah, I do think I think that I'm in like kind of a middle point right now of switching into less of the hey girl business because I do think early on in my days there was definitely I was more of that where I was like just looking for, the only relationship piece, hoping that business comes from it. And it did work out for me. Some of those relationships and some of them still I have had kind of like I'm their number two. Like I'm still their number two. We still go on lunch. We still talk. Like we still have a relationship, but I'm their number two. But lately, I am trying to transition that piece into also like really asking for the business and kind of listening to like, yes, we can have, like a really good personal relationship, but also like, let me help you win business. Let me help you be like the girl, the partner that is going to get your clients to the finish line in the best way possible. So sometimes that also comes from someone else screwing up. And when someone else does screw up, or I can hear like a pain point there, I really hone in on that. And I also have the wits about me now to be like, why would you let that happen to you again? Like, let's not let that happen. Like, here I am. Like, it's kind of the ball's in your court now. Like, why would you put your borrowers through that again? Let's just try it. So there is a sense of like getting over that into like almost a little bit of an uncomfortable point, but not really if you have that personal relationship of making sure that you ask for the business and then pushing the business to come. Like we're not just here all the time, yes, like you seem great, we're gonna, have great conversation, but like let's do good business together. Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe you have more confidence now too in being able to, I know that person screwed up. I know I'm not going to try me. Like, do you feel that you have more confidence because you've spent more time doing loans now?
For sure. Definitely more confidence. And I think everyone, I'm sure, gets to the point in their business where they're not desperate for the business anymore. You still want to get out there and grind and collect it. Like I still am in a prospecting mindset where I do want to go out and get more business, but I'm not desperate for it like I used to be, where I would just cast my net out there and hope that it all comes back to me in the best way possible. I can be more intentional now.
And do you have any particular niche or any type of home buyers that you focus on, or like what's your specialty?
Yeah, it kind of was all first-time home buyers. Like that was like 75% of my business. Now I would say it's pretty split 50-50 between move-up buyers and also I still have really good amount of first-time home buyers, but it's kind of 50-50 between the two. I would assume that it's kind of going to go, first time home buyers will get a little bit smaller as I, get into like the move up business a little bit more. And that's also, I think, my age. I'm 35 now. So my age group is that move up buyer.
Is moving in a little. Yeah,
Yeah.
they need a little more space,
Yeah.
and we're getting to that point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so as far as your market there in Southern New Hampshire, how is it for first time home buyers? Is it challenging?
Very challenging. Yeah, it's super, super challenging. So we have two in New Hampshire, we have two like big cities. So we have Concord, which from Southern New Hampshire is probably an hour north, and then we have Manchester, which is about 30 minutes north from here. Those are two of the really big first time homebuyer hotspots and kind of the outskirts around. So like you could still get a decent, single family house for like around 400,000 in those
That's
areas,
awesome. Yeah.
which is huge, because that's mainly, for, people who are in their 20s and they're in like their intro jobs. That's kind of where they want to be. In Southern New Hampshire, we do have one town here where there's a lot of condexes. So it's the same thing, between like 350 to 400 with no HOA. That's a huge first time home buyer purchase right there. But there's also in Southern New Hampshire a lot of first time home buyers that are in like the 550 market. And those are the houses that are going like 30 offers in on one home. Who knows how far over they go. So that market, what I'm seeing in my pipeline right now is like the hardest to get into for first time home buyers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do a lot of folks work in Boston, or are they working around or remote, or what does that look like?
Yeah, I have a good amount that work in Boston. Some work like all over Massachusetts. So when they do pick, to purchase in New Hampshire, they have to be on those highways. Usually it's around 93. Nashua too is a huge one because it's a little bit more inland, but it's still right on the Mass border. So those are like definitely like hot spots for first time home buyers.
I've seen multiple times like those little grids or memes on social media that are showing us the top markets, and Manchester, New Hampshire comes up pretty often in like the top three.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
It's
a good place to
also
be.
it's a great place to be. It's affordable, the taxes are lower, and like I said, it's right on the highway. So for Massachusetts workers, it's huge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about your team. So you're at the Salem branch, and I recall when you came to Embrace, you and Cassie, your branch manager, were a unit. You came over together. Tell me a little bit about Cassie, the branch, and your team.
Yeah. So I've worked with Cassie for 4 years now. She was working at the brokerage when I switched out from the bank. She was working there, and she's gone through so many different jobs. For that owner of the brokerage, she was on his team as an assistant. She went into like an operations manager role. She went into a pipeline manager role. And then, kind of when we switched over to Embrace, she was basically functioning like a branch manager. She was working with the sales team. She was, coaching loan officers on how to sell, this rate to that rate, how to overcome obstacles and challenges, while also like really honing in on not letting the sales team get bogged down by any operational challenges and letting them just go sell. So and I know that that's not typical of a branch manager, but for me, I think there's so many other outsourcing pieces that if I, as someone in sales, I want advice or coaching, I can go find that places. But really my biggest pain point ever in my whole career as a loan officer is like if something is happening in the pipeline, that's, an obstacle or a challenge, I don't want to deal with it. Like I want to be able to call someone on my team and be like, how do we get above this? How do we get around this? Like, let's just fix it. Because I'm not the kind of, I want my borrowers to have the absolute best experience like ever. Like I very much care about it. I want it to be streamlined. And Cassie is the get it done girl. She can get anything done. She will call anyone. She will find a loophole. She will find an open window. And so I was like, listen, if I'm going to go, I don't want to manage. You can. I know you
Yeah.
can. I've seen you do it. I want you here with me.
And she's like knocking it out of the park up there and
Oh,
hiring more people. And so
yep.
how many folks do you have on your team now?
So we have 5 now. Yeah.
And then your individual, you also have Krista, who's your assistant. But
Yep.
like, how did you come about? Like, did you have to make a decision when it came to, okay, when did you decide you needed an assistant?
Yeah, so Krista was actually, she was a processor for our company, and she had kind of put the feelers out there that she wanted to move into assistant role. I and one other person on my team that had ended up leaving, we took her on together as our assistant, and then he ended up leaving, and I was like, well, now that I have had you, like, you're not, I can't let you go,
Yeah.
like, will you? And she entrusted me enough to, and I'm so thankful for that, to say, I know that you're going to grow, and like, let's do it together. And she has completely been like an absolute right hand to my business. And I call her like the yin to my yang. Like, she is so type A, like, just can get it done. And I'm kind of like the out to the clouds, like, just functioning chaos kind of
You're
person.
the
So
salesperson, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we've now worked together for 3 years, and it's been a lot of like, I would say like every year when we do more business, we almost have to rewrite how we do things. But I'm always, she's the best, and she's always, down to roll with the punches and restructure how we do things. So I'm so thankful for her.
Yeah. And so she's a processing type assistant, right? So you have your loan processor, and then you have Krista working your files. But as far as like marketing and business development goes, is that something you outsource at all, or what do you do for marketing?
Yeah, so most of the marketing I do, I guess myself to an extent, like social media and stuff, is all. I have a videographer that edits videos for me, sends them to me, but all the posting and all of that I do by myself. As far as like ads and things like that, sometimes I have people help me make those before
Sure.
I send them out to places, but for the most part, I do it myself.
Okay. So I think that's what's interesting too, as you see different loan officer styles. It's like, okay, so when I'm going to bring in help and when I'm going to pay someone to do something, you're, I like how you're like, this is my weakness. I'm not going to be the detailed person that wants to deal with these files. I will go out there and I will make my own Canva graphic, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people you can never really, there's no magic formula, but sort of hiring to your own weakness is it, I think.
Oh my gosh, I mean, my favorite thing about this job is the lifestyle that it allows me, the flexibility and things like that. So I will pay whatever to take something that's bogging me down off of my plate. Like, it's worth every single penny to me to be able to align all the things that need to be aligned. And I don't want to not do my best at something. And if I need to put someone else in that place or pay someone else to do that in order for, the standards to be where I need them to be, then I'm totally okay with that.
I think that's great. And it's really just kind of you're making that decision for your lifestyle. And you kind of touched on the flexibility a little bit. You do have two little ones.
Yeah. Yep.
How old are they?
Jack is going to be 7 in 2 days, and
Ooh.
Lila just turned 3. So 7 and 3.
Yeah, so you're really in the thick of it. And how do you think, like, it's so funny because you can see it both ways when it comes to the mortgage business. On the one hand, you're like, you got to work all weekend, it's crazy. But there is that flexibility. Nobody is saying, no, you can't leave the office to go to Jack's performance at school. Which could have been the case if you're still working inside a bank branch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what is the lifestyle like with two little kids and a thriving mortgage business?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but it's awesome. I very quickly on learned that a lot of people had always said to me, they'd always been like, you have to find a time to shut off, to be like completely offline, like don't pick up your phone, don't let your kids see you on your phone all the time, this and that. And that piece of it, like that verbiage of like you have to find a time to shut off really stressed me out. Like really stressed me out. I was like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to be the best that I can be at work and be the best mom if I'm like really trying so hard to find a time to shut off. So I don't, and that might be like, not the best. I don't know. Maybe like talk to me
I'm
into
kind
the
of
years
relieved you
that.
said that because I thought you were about to be like, and then I shut my phone off for 3 hours
No.
every night. I was like, oh God, no, I never did that.
No, no, I can't do it. And it like makes me more anxious. So what I do, like I always have it with me, but it's there. And if nothing's coming in for 15 minutes, I can give my kids 15 minutes of dedicated playtime. Like that's it. And then if something comes in, we can finish up. I can hop on my computer and then I can go back to what I'm doing with them. Um, so that's and I don't think, we always talked about like when I'm working, this is normal people have 9 to 5 jobs. They drop you off at school, then they pick you up at 5 and they can't. But I can be at things because I work all the time. So we do, and my husband has a super flexible job as well. So we're really blessed in that regard. But we're very open about talking about it with them of like, this is why I'm on my phone. And if I say that, like, hold on a minute, this is why we're doing this. It's because we get to go to the lake house from Thursday to Sunday. And this is why we have the lake house because we work really hard. So it's one of those things that we try to keep the communication open about it.
I love that. Have you seen I just read Emma Greed's book. She's actually the CEO. She runs Good American and Skims, like the two
Okay.
big Kardashian brands. And she partners with the Kardashians on those. She founded Good American with Chloe and then they pulled her in for Skims. So she's kind of came under fire on TikTok a little bit because she's talked about being a 3 hour a day mom. But she's like, but that's 3 hours is kind of actually a lot of time to just be totally spending on your kids after work. But she also talked about how she doesn't, she's going on this book tour. And instead of saying like, oh, this is so sad, mommy's going to be away on this book tour and it's terrible and I just wish I was with you, she's like very forthcoming with her kids, like, no, I'm having a great time and I'm so proud of my book and I get to go to really exciting cities and meet people who love my book. And then her daughter's happy for her, her
Yeah.
daughter's sad and going to miss her, but she's kind of happy and excited for her mom. So I thought that was such an interesting perspective. Like we always have to put out there that, oh, it's very hard that I have this job, but kind of getting involved, like, this is why we have the lake house. Isn't this great? I just got to
Yeah.
get on my phone for a few minutes. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah, and we started to talk about like the lake house was a big one, but they were a little bit younger when we bought that. So now we talk about like what's the next family goal,
Yeah.
like what's the next one. So like we don't have a boat for the lake house yet, so now we're working to buy a boat. So it's one of those things where we kind of loop them in on our goals, like what's the family goal and like how are we going to work to get there. So it gives them a good perspective too, and I want them to know like you can't, when I'm on my phone I'm working and it's for this reason, to get the things that we want for our family.
I love that perspective. I don't think a lot of parents do that, really kind of share or open with it, or at least they didn't used to, right? And like just having the idea that you don't really talk about money with kids or you don't talk about, and it's like, okay, a boat just arrives. Well, now you think you can just go get a boat whenever you want to, which
Yeah.
isn't the case. So I think that's really, really smart.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
We touched on marketing a little bit. I don't want to let you go before we just chat marketing because I'm a marketer. What is working for you in marketing right now?
Yeah, honestly, my biggest thing that works for me in terms of social media is Instagram stories. It's the most engaging. You can mix personal and business perfectly. I think that you have to do everything. You have to do the posts, you have to do the reels. But the most engagement that I get is from Instagram stories, whether it's from, a consumer direct, like, I have like a borrower watch it, or if it's to agents. It's mostly agents because they hear the stories of like what a client is facing. If there's any challenges there, they hear that before I do. I hope one day that my social media switches to where like they come straight to me, but they usually go right to the agent. So if they're going right to the agent's watching my story that like, oh, Kenzi just had this borrower, that this happened. Maybe let's just call her and like see, because it sounds kind of the same. So that's usually what's like where I'm engaging is the stories of like, hey, a borrower just bought a house using this, or we just had someone clear to close and this was their, job structure kind of thing.
Nice. And what's not working?
Print advertising is not working. Not working. I always have something going for visibility, I would say. Never works though. I've done billboards, I've done bus ads, I've done, newspapers, I've done everything. None of it ever works. Right now I have an actual bus ad with one
I've
of my
seen it on social media when people, because people will post it when they see you.
Yes. So that's actually been like the coolest one. It's not a single loan lead has come from it, but I've gotten the most visibility specifically from that ad than anything ever. So that one I guess is worth it. It's not too expensive, but the visibility's there for sure.
Yeah, it's really tough. Brand is so hard because it's hard to track and you don't really know. And did that make a difference? We'll never quite know. But no, I kind of want to drive around your town and like see you on a bus, maybe if I'm in the area. It seems exciting.
The first time my son saw it, he was in the car with my husband, and he was just screaming in the backseat. My husband had no idea what he was saying. He's like, "Mom's on a truck, Dad, Mom's on a truck." It was so funny. Like, oh, I wish I was there to see it, but yeah, it's hilarious.
So that was worth the price of the ad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your goal? What's your production goal for 2026?
Yeah, I shifted my goal this year to be units focused, and then I tied a volume goal to it, which, so I wanted to help 100 families this year.
Love that.
So I just did my volume goal off of my average loan amount last year. So that would be about 45 million for the year. So in New England, it's very hard to like be on track per se. I think I'm on track, but our Q1 and the beginning of our Q2 is like so slow, and like the last 2 quarters are really when like the bulk of our business comes. So I think I'm on track, but we gotta keep it going for Q4 too.
I love it. Did something in particular give you the idea to help 100 families?
I helped 75 last year, so 25 more felt like it was like doable, but not like shooting too high. And the volume piece of it, I don't want to like look at like a family and their purchase as a loan amount. Like I don't like that mindset. So if the volume comes, great, but the thought of helping like 100 families, 100 stories, 100, whatever it is, like that's really what I wanted to focus on.
That's great. I think that's an awesome goal, and I know you're gonna hit it.
Thanks.
Well, I think that's all we have. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my gosh, thank you.